Great. Good afternoon, everyone. Sorry, excuse me, croaking my voice. That's a good start, isn't it? Thank you and welcome to coming to This is Pro Manchester event. I'm really excited about this. Sorry, just before we go ahead, could everybody please mute their microphones just to avoid any sound interference whilst we're talking? That's great. Thank you. So yes, I'm really excited about this event and I've been looking forward to it all month. I often get the chance to have a chat with members, talk about their engagement, but it's not very often I get to share that with so many other people. So today is a really good opportunity for us to do that with old members, with new members, and potentially on the list here today we've got some people who are maybe considering membership. So maybe this will help you get some really good insight into, you know, what Pro Manchester can do for you, some good examples of members engaging with Pro Manchester and what they've got out with it and where the value is for them as a business. So we've got a great panel with us today, a wonderfully diverse panel of members. We've got members who are old and new again. So we've got members such as Sean and his business from Together, who have been with Pro Manchester for as long as I've been with Pro Manchester, which is a good 15 years now, can you believe it? And we've also got some more newer members, the likes of Lee Alley and perhaps a bit more established, but with Liz Taylor as well. So they're going to come and give some of their perspective, how they've engaged with the programme and got involved with Pro Manchester. I'm really fortunate to kind of have trodden my career path with two people that are joining me on the panel today, which is Jen and James. So both former members of the Future Pro Manchester Committee, but also, you know, kind of our careers have all sort of developed together. So that's a really nice insight to give across from that as well. And then we've got Mel from Ryder Levitt Butler. Now, Mel and I probably haven't interacted with each other as much over the years, but certainly we have over the past 6 months because we realised that perhaps they weren't making the most of the membership. So we've been working really hard together to make sure that we get RLB really involved, and I think we've done a good job, haven't we, Mel? So you're going to come in from that perspective. Okay, so let's get started. And I think first and foremost, let's get. Sorry, can I ask you again to just mute your microphones if you can? Thank you. It's just avoids any interference on the sound, that's all. If you do have any questions for the panel, and I do want you all to get very much involved in this, either raise your hand or if you can pop it in the chat and I'll incorporate it into the conversation, that's no problem. Okay, I think we'll get started. So I think we'll start with Mel, because you're sort of there and you're front and centre of my screen. So let's go with you first. Just tell us a little bit about you.
Okay. Yeah, so basically, the company I work for, we're a multidisciplinary property and construction consultancy, and we work UK-wide, and we do actually work internationally. But for us, having the local presence and the local office is really important. And from that point of view, that's why we came to Pro Manchester. We wanted to build that network and build that local presence and raise our profile within the area as well. So very short and sweet, that was our reason for getting in touch with Pro Manchester, raising profile, understanding the local market and building some great relationships.
Brilliant, thanks Mel. And then we'll move over to James.
Thanks Sam. As you mentioned, been involved with Pro Manchester now for a number of years, really fortunate to get involved in Future Pro Manchester when I was a bit younger and fresher faced, and then also been really lucky to sit on a number of the panels for the corporate finance lunch, where again excellent attendance across Manchester with circa 400 plus attendees. I suppose in terms of how North Edge as a business interacts, where I sit, is really around the opportunity to network with other members, because as a private equity house and working across the regions, it's really important for us to build relationships with relevant corporate financiers, bankers, businesses, recruiters. There's a whole raft of people within professional services and beyond, and Pro Manchester definitely enables you to do that. One, from a sector focus as well, which is very useful. But again, the breadth and strength and depth of network, I personally think is fantastic.
Brilliant, thanks James. And I think we'll move to your fellow Future Pro Manchester member, Jen Smith.
Hi everyone, my name's Jen Smith. I'm a partner at JMW Solicitors. I'm an employment lawyer. And as Sam said, I've kind of grown up, if you like, with Sam over the years and through Pro Manchester. I started engaging as an attendee of events when I was a trainee solicitor, so a long time ago. And probably between about 2008, 2010, I was very fortunate that my supervising partner at the time really instilled into me, how important business development is, how important networking is, in particular with your fellow professionals in the Manchester business community. So he used to send me to Pro Manchester events, and he would send me to the business lunches, and I remember it being really daunting at the time, but he really exposed me, and he said this is one of the most important organisations in the city for you to cut your teeth really with and get out there. So I did start to go to events when I was really at the junior end, and I really would encourage senior members now to encourage particularly from a diversity point of view, to help on the diversity front, to encourage your younger team members to start attending Pro Manchester events. But like Sam said, I started to attend the events and then joined the Future Pro Manchester Committee, which was wonderful from a personal development point of view, and my employer certainly benefited from how my, should we say, softer skills were improved, I think, from joining committees. And then the good thing about Pro Manchester is, as you get a few more grey hairs and you get a bit older, there's other committees for you to join. So I think once has been retired from the Future Pro Manchester Committee from an age point of view, there's other committees to get involved in, and it's just been fantastic. So I was involved, I chaired the retail and e-commerce committee for a period of time, and that was phenomenal. From that helped me to reach out to other professionals that I've not previously been able to do, and again it exposed me to things like helping host a business lunch for over 200 people, which Sam didn't quite tell me what I was going to do that day. He didn't quite realise I was going to be speaking to 200 people, but again it was fantastic. And then I was able to link in with these, the CEO of Better Bathrooms, it was at the time, and we've really been able to work together to help from a personal development point of view, but also as I've then risen through the ranks with my employer, I've also now seen how good the sponsorship opportunities are and how we've benefited from those sponsorship. And also when I've worked with other organisations, so I've chaired some charity committees, again, when I've seen where other organisations are perhaps lacking, maybe for example on a logistical technical expertise point of view, I've been able to go to Sam and say, I'm working with this charity, we want to put on a business lunch, how can we work with Pro Manchester to do this? And we put on a fantastic event, didn't we, Sam? We had the CEO of Tesco UK Northern Ireland speaking. It was fantastic, and we had, God, I think there may have been 700 people there, and again we were only able to get those bumps on seats and raise an incredible amount of money for charity because we had that collaboration with Pro Manchester and the professional services community. So I can't speak more highly enough of joining Pro Manchester. From a personal, selfish point of view, it's benefited me really well, and it's made me the rounded professional, if you like, that it has today. But from a business perspective as well, I can now see, as a partner in the firm, why encouraging your junior members of staff all the way through to partner level to attend the events. And like James touched on, certainly in the legal world and professional services, you need to have those relationships with accountants, with private equity firms, with recruitment companies, so it's really important. So yeah, I'm a big Pro Manchester fan.
You're on mute, Sam.
It's because I didn't press the button hard enough, and there's always got to be one to do it first, right? And I'll recall, so I'll take that one. But no, brilliant. It's really obvious that you're such an ambassador for us, Jen. It's fantastic. There's loads of stuff in there that I want to kind of drill down a little bit more into. One of them being when you did rope me into that charity event. I think it was retribution for the retail event. Neither of us probably quite knew what we were getting into with that, but actually it was a lot of hard work, but there was a lot of value in it. And like you say, I think we raised over 100 and odd grand for the SME Trust, didn't we? So it was well worth it in the end. Okay, let's go over to Liz. Where's Liz Taylor? She's there. Brilliant. Liz, would you like to talk to us a little bit about your engagement with Pro-M?
Well, first of all, I'd like to take Jennifer Smith to lunch because I'd like to meet the chairman of Tesco to see what events they do. That's my first thing, Jennifer. No one else can come. I'm very sceptical with networking groups, but I am a huge believer in networking. I think that whatever industry, whatever business you're in, it's the the wheel. It's the cog of the wheel. And what I like about Pro Manchester is the diversity, and the group is very reactive. So particularly during lockdown, for me, I've set up this new consultancy business, and Pro Manchester have given me huge support. And I suppose really in a way they give you confidence, because whatever, you know, whatever is on the outside of all of us, and, you know, we're all sort of battling in industries, and we've had a real fight over the last 12 months, but there is an insecurity with everyone. And I think that Pro Manchester gives you the confidence to get out there, to realise your worth, to meet people, to share your skills. And it's, you know, it's been supporting businesses throughout Manchester for a long time. It was recommended to me, and hence my involvement. And in a nutshell, I just think it's a cool operation. And I think that we should also do more of these, irrespective of when we all go back and we all stand in a room with a glass of champagne and you've got a badge on your chest, and then you have to go up and you can't even read the badge on your chest because you need to put your glasses on. Whereas this way, I just think it's I think, you know, you should do this once a month, Sam, because I think it's a great way of interacting with people that, you know, you don't get to see. So I'm with you.
Sounds like a good plan to me, actually, Liz, and maybe we will. And actually, I should just let you all know that we had all the panels sort of join the call a little bit earlier, and Liz was straight in there and making sure that she got those connections, so she knows how to do this well. So if you need any hints and tips on it, go to Liz, because I'm sure she'll be able to help you. But maybe it is something that we do going forward, something that's a bit more informal, just something a bit more light-hearted, a bit informative, but in a nice, friendly environment. Absolutely, let's look at doing that. So Lee Ali, I'm going to come over to you. You're more of a relatively new member, I think. I mean, you've been with us for sort of 12 months or so now, but perhaps you want to give us a bit more of your perspective.
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Sam. Yeah, we joined, I think it was at the end of last year that we actually joined. I've been a member of Pro Manchester before in my other business, and the reason why we primarily joined, Mike Pye, who's actually on the call, and myself, we started a new business last summer, and it was actually aimed at professional service-based businesses. And what a better organisation than to be a member of, to raise our exposure and you know, raise our profile, and you know, get our service in front of, you know, the professional service-based businesses out there in Greater Manchester. And so far, what we've been able to do is engage with Sean to put on an event that we did at the start of January, I think. And I've also, on a personal level, joined the race, ethnicity and religious belief committee as well. And we've had a couple of great meetings, and we've got some exciting initiatives lined up being part of that group. And Sean's also been able to help us connect with a number of businesses with direct introductions as well. So yeah, over the past 3 or 4 months, we've had some really good engagement, and really looking forward to getting the most out of our membership.
Brilliant, thank you, Lee Ali. That's great, and we'll come back and maybe sort of dig into some more of that engagement in a little while. But last but not least on our panel, we have Mr. Williams, Sean Williams. Sean has switched roles actually during his time within Pro Manchester, moving from Yorkshire Bank, Virgin Money over to Together. But Sean is also a board member of Pro Manchester. So Sean, perhaps you'd like to give us a little bit from your perspective of involvement with Pro Manchester.
Yeah, absolutely, Sam, and good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for the opportunity to come along and just play through some of my sort of take on Pro Manchester as an organisation. I think for me, as a relatively well, you can probably tell from my dulcet Lancastrian tones, I'm a northwest lad through and through. But the reality is, I moved into Manchester probably just about 10 years ago now as regional head for Yorkshire Bank, or Clydesdale Yorkshire Bank, which is now Virgin Money. Before probably 15 months or so ago, moving across to Together Money, based in Cheadle, who also have been a long-term advocate and supporter of Pro Manchester. So coming into Manchester as a new kid on the block, I skirted around a number of sort of membership organisations and tried to really understand how I can go about building my own personal brand, and essentially over a period of time to grow our influence and reach as a business. So we have at Yorkshire Bank we had a strong corporate and commercial banking offering, and they've been represented in Manchester for probably 20 years. But perhaps as we started to think about investing for further growth, how do we sort of use and leverage a membership organisation to really grow our reach and influence across the city? So I started getting immersed in Pro Manchester. I was absolutely, blown away by the opportunity to engage with 300 like-minded members, and across with such a diverse set of SMEs across the sort of 10,000 members or businesses that are part of the SME Club, etc. And just used it essentially to build my own network, to start to build our own brand and our profile, and to use it for insight and support around essentially what more we could do to build our brand presence across the city. And then at the same time as well, I think what we shouldn't lose sight of, and I agree with everything that's been said before, is just how much of a representative body Pro Manchester is for its members. I think Sam and the team have got a huge credibility and trust and relationships with all our city leaders, and as we all strive to sort of put or play our part in growing our business and our opportunities across the UK and wider, Pro Manchester's just got such a strong link and such strong stakeholder engagement with all the city leaders that I think it just helps us just to continue to build our opportunity and put us on the map. And I think, as what has been said before, one of the things I've actively encouraged all my team over the years that I've been in Manchester is to immerse yourselves in the programme. Some of the Future Pro programmes that was been alluded to already. It's a great opportunity for up and coming talent in the city to really go about building their network and have a little bit of fun along the way. So hopefully that gives you a bit of a feel for my journey, Sam.
Perfect. Thanks, Sean. Just a reminder to everybody that if you do want to ask the panel, now that you've been introduced to them all, any questions, please do either raise your hand or pop them in the chat, and we will bring them into that conversation. But since Sean sort of ended on the sort of talking about encouraging people to join Future Pro Manchester, I'm going to start there, and I'm going to go to James first and just ask James, how did you find out about Pro Manchester and why did you want to get involved in it?
Yeah, I think, how do we find out about Pro Manchester? That's a good question. I'm scratching my head because it's so long ago in terms of when we were members. I think in terms of, just to echo what's been said already, I think it's a great business development organisation and there is genuine value add. I share the belief that I'm quite sceptical because you obviously get a number of opportunities to partner with businesses and brands. Whereas I suppose seeing Pro Manchester for the last, over a decade now, in terms of grow and in terms of who they support across the region, is very, very impressive. So yeah, I can't quite recall how I heard about the branding, to be honest, Sam. But what I do know from probably attending numerous events, whether it was Future Pro Manchester or whether it's the sector events that you do, there's always some fantastic attendees. And again, just to echo what the panel said already, just around actually really encouraging your teams to do so. It's a fantastic way to start building your network, whether you're senior within an organisation, you're mid-ranking or you're new to an organisation, because it is a very friendly environment and user-friendly environment to actually network once we're all allowed out again and we can actually start seeing each other face to face. It's a really conducive environment. One, to obviously build and improve on your networking skills, because that can be really daunting for junior people within the region. But equally, it's a really safe place where you can actually do that, but also learn a lot as well, because the sector insights are really, really impressive, just in terms of the depth of people that you get to speak at those events, because they genuinely are industry experts around their subject matter. So you get access to new contacts, new business opportunities, new leads, and just the volume of events that are done. I think there's something in it for everyone. So as you can probably tell, I'm a big supporter of Pro Manchester, hence why we've been members for so long. We obviously support a number of businesses across the region in terms of investment, and keeping that within the Northwest is very important for us.
Brilliant, thanks, James. And a regular panelist on our annual corporate finance lunch as well, which is one of the key pieces of activity that Pro Manchester does, and what it's famous for, actually. I mean, Pro Manchester is much more representative of a broader demographic of business now, but actually historically it was built out of the financial and professional services sector, that corporate finance community being one of the strongest in the country here in Manchester, isn't it? And I know that obviously you featured in the annual lunch that we do on a yearly basis quite regularly. Yeah, that's a fantastic event. Always north of 400 people, so it's quite a diverse selection of people across the Northwest. And I think, just to add as well, I think Pro Manchester enables everyone to have a voice as well. I think it's always on top of key initiatives and key hot topics, whether it's around diversity, whether it's around actually supporting the region and helping it grow, whether it's around jobs. It always seems to have the finger on the pulse, and again, it's just a great way to attend the events and really push people outside the comfort zone sometimes to actually go along and do it, because I think you only get out what you put in within these events. So I think it's hugely important to really embrace what it's got to offer, and never be afraid to ask questions of the business as well in terms of Pro Manchester, because Sam is a fantastic introducer in terms of very proactive, always will have an idea on who you could chat to. So again, it's not just one way in terms of paying a subscription and turning up to events. It's fantastic around thinking about how can Pro Manchester work for you, and whether you're looking to have new clients, new contacts, whether you're looking to speak to wise people around a certain sector. Sam has always been fantastic and wonderful with being able to produce ideas or people to have a conversation with, which again I see as a huge USP for the organisation. Oh, great, thanks, James. And right back at you. I mean, I think Pro Manchester is a members' organisation. It's for here and it's for its members. And you and I went for lunch, didn't we, pre-COVID days? And you know, I was still relatively new in my role as chief executive, because I wanted somebody who understood the business from a membership perspective, who'd been around to maybe just, you know, thrash out some ideas. What should Pro Manchester be doing? What can we do to add even better value to the members? And I remember you and I have got, and I've still got a long list of ideas that we've still got to put together, but COVID put a spanner in some of those works. Future Pro Manchester programme, I think, just for those that don't understand it, is about developing that younger talent in the city, helping those people that are fresh into the workplace from whatever path they come from, providing them with the safe environment and platform to be able to build their networks with the like-minded individuals. And again, it kind of comes to that giving them that voice, but in a very safe and comfortable environment. And working with Jen, I think I'm going to talk about some of those partnerships, because Jen, actually, you were president of the JCI programme as well, weren't you? So, you know, and I can see that Fran Ecclesbeck, the wonderful Fran Ecclesbeck, is on the attendee list today, and it's talking about that collaboration and working with those other key partners within the city as well, to help support each other with that development and that growth. Don't know if Jen might have frozen. Have you frozen, Jen? Are you with us?
I think it's frozen for me. Oh, I'm back. Okay. Sorry, we just said about the collaboration, Sam.
Yes, I just wanted, because obviously, like, your role is as president of JCI, which again is another organisation out there to support young professionals in and around Manchester, and us working together really to help support each other.
Yeah, it was fantastic. I've just been having a nosy on Liz's social media, and it was really good just to see that Liz is doing stuff with JCI Manchester. And I think I don't know, I think there'd been a tendency in the past to see, you know, as organisations couldn't work together. And then, you know, we just completely dispelled that myth, and we worked together on some fantastic projects as JCI Manchester and Pro Manchester. And like I said, the charity, which when I was prepping for this, I'd completely forgotten about that. But the business charity lunch we did, which was huge. I think because of the name, you know, that we'd got to speak at the event, but the bums on seats we got number wise, and like the money we made for charity was incredible. And it was just so refreshing, the fact that we always managed to find ways to work together, as opposed to seeing, you know, Pro Manchester and, you know, whatever other networking group as, you know, competition. And we always managed to come together to join forces and work together to benefit the community.
Yeah, it's a question I get asked a lot, really, actually, about the other sort of key partners, trade associations in and around Manchester, is about, you know, well, what's your relationship like with the Chamber? I have a great relationship with the Chamber. I sit with Clive, I sit with the North West Business Leadership Team, the Growth Company, on, at the moment, because of COVID, on bi-weekly calls, and which Andy Burnham's introduced into, so that we can all kind of work together, because, you know, Manchester has that wonderfully collaborative effort. So it's not about who can outdo who and competition. It's actually just about how can we actually work together for the betterment of the region. Ultimately, it's not about egos, it's about Manchester, isn't it, and the economic growth of Manchester and how we can support that. And, you know, and a lot of that comes through some of the work of the sector groups. So yeah, you mentioned before, didn't you, Jen, about the work you did on the retail group specifically. Maybe get a bit more information about that, and maybe we can talk to people about how maybe they want to get involved. There's a whole programmes list on the Pro Manchester website, which I do encourage members to go and have a look at. And if there's anything there that stands out to you across those programmes, get in touch with me, and I will happily, you know, try and talk to you about maybe getting a bit more involved in those groups. But Jen, you chaired the retail group specifically, so let's talk about that.
It was fantastic, that group. I previously sat on the creative Pro Manchester group, which was fab for me at the time. Quite a few of my clients are in that space, the digital agencies and e-commerce space, so that was really fantastic. And then I think I had a chat with Sam, and, you know, I always want, you know, I'm ambitious and want to develop and keep, you know, updating my skills. And then Sam had talked to me about the different sector groups, and then I'd mentioned about the retail and e-commerce group, and it just sounded really interesting. So I think we'd sat down, had a chat, I met a few of the other members, and then I was a committee member, and then became chair of that committee, and it was fantastic, because again I was exposed to, I think there's probably like 7 or 8 of us on the committee. Obviously you always get the usual that will always turn up to meetings, and so there's always like a stronghold of probably 5 of us, but again, you know, working with people that I wouldn't ordinarily in my day-to-day job be working with. So I remember English I worked with really closely, who I think was at 77, I think at the time, was it 77? And just again working with people in different sectors and different industry specialists, but us all coming together to put on events that people in the retail and e-commerce space would really benefit from. So we had that fantastic business lunch with, like I said, the CEO of Bathroom Takeaway, Diane as well, Diana Whirl, is it Sam, who's a real industry specialist in retail, and we just had the most fantastic panel event. And again, we had a room of 200 plus, you know, professionals, you know, listening to what the panelists had to say. And we also then put on breakfast events as well. We got some, you know, social chain. We had people speaking from Häagen-Dazs, General Mills, and again it was a really good, because it was just as committee members, us thinking, right, let's all get our book of contacts out and see how we can benefit, you know, the retail and e-commerce group and the membership of Pro Manchester. So, you know, as you're getting older and, you know, your friends are getting older with you, you realise that actually some of them have got some quite good jobs. So one of my best friends is quite high up now in marketing at Häagen-Dazs. So I said, you know, will you come up to Manchester and speak at an event? So brilliant, she did. We had someone from Social Chain. The Häagen-Dazs, General Mills, then instructed Social Chain on the back of that one breakfast event that was at Artisan to do some of their videography. So Social Chain, which at the time, you know, would never have got someone like Häagen-Dazs, you know, they then worked together on that. So that was, you know, that was a brilliant, you know, relationship see to develop, and just come about from, you know, us putting on this event and getting a panel of speakers, and, you know, people really benefiting from it, which, you know, at the end of the day, it's not just about what you personally get from it, but it's just great to see how you can match people together, and like James was just saying about Sam, and introduce people to see, you know, how they can develop and what they can get from it. And it's just about working together, really working together and pulling together, and not against each other. So the retail e-commerce group was fabulous, and then I went on maternity leave. I came back, and it was, you know, really good to see. I came back the week we went into lockdown, so it's been a bit unusual for me, my return to work. But again, I was just really pleased to see Pro Manchester. It was like so many more committed about diversity and saying, you know, okay, right, we've got you know, the women specialist groups, we've got working parents groups now. So again, as you know, you're changing in life and things like, I've got a child now, so I'm balancing that, you know, working full time in a stressful job and, you know, having a toddler. And again, it's just really good to see that there's other parts of Pro Manchester that I can still grow and develop, you know, as a person.
I'm really glad you brought that up, actually, Jen, because I've got a little EDI by your name, because I know that when you did come back from maternity leave, first thing you did was reach out to me and say, Sam, I'd really like to know more about the working parents group. How do I get involved in that?
Yeah.
You've hit that nail on the head. Thank you very much, Jen. And also the good point now is the connections bit. That's what we're here for, right? Actually, I mean, it's about building relationships with other people, but ultimately everybody wants to be able to do business with other businesses in and around the business community, and that's what we're here to facilitate and help with. And certainly through those introductions that James mentioned, that Jen mentioned, you know, if it's not somebody that I know directly, I'll know somebody who knows them. So, you know, do utilise me if you can. I'm quite happy to see if I can put some feelers out and find the right people for you, opening up other people's black books for you. If I can do that, absolutely, that's great. Liz, let's talk to you a little bit about your involvement in Pro Manchester, and I know you've supported various different of our activities with the work that you've done with Stock Exchange and other venues in and around Manchester. Perhaps maybe just go into a bit more detail about that.
Well, what I like about it is that I like the quality of the members. I think that I like the fact that it's indicative, it's well supported. So when we did the breakfast at Stock Exchange, I think we had something like 80 people there, and I think that a lot of that is down to the organisation, and I think, you know, there's a willingness from the team to go out of the way to get involved, which you don't often get. You know, I am on other boards and other groups, and I couldn't even tell you who actually the CEO or the CEO was, because, you know, they pale into it, you never see them. So I like the fact that it's very proactive, and I like the fact that you get a response when you email or when you call. You also reach out. So that whole thing with Pro Manchester is the basis of my business, because in the events business, it's very much not what you know or who you know, but you need that interaction. You know, I pick up every call that comes into the office and I respond to everything. I think it's very important. And I think the other thing that is that over the last 12 months, I was always a little bit tight with my black book. It was kept very close to my chest, and you know, no one was going to have my contacts. But the last 12 months has changed everything. It's changed the way we work. It's changed the way we think. You know, there are no longer competitors in any industry. We're all under one umbrella, and we all support each other. And yes, you know, you want to be the biggest and the best, and you want to be the most successful. But that competitive element's gone. And I think that will support groups like Pro Manchester. I think people will be a lot more, you know, keen to. I'm not expressing myself very well, but I think you know what I'm saying. It's people are willing to get together, to support each other, to help each other, and to have that hook, to have that group with somebody at the top you can either vent to or you can, you know, look for support from. It's hugely important, and you know, I just think I think it's a very, very, very valuable asset. And the events that I've done, and indeed I'm doing, I'm excited about, because I know that the people that are going to attend are people that I want, you know, in my business life, and I feel that I can give to them and they can give to me. And it's not often that you get that with a group. You often find that it's maybe a bit more of a one-way street, but this is a mix of like-minded professionals, all looking for the same thing, and with the support at the top, and so that's why I like that. That's why I feel that it's, you know, you cover a wide range of topics. You promote what I do. You promote what other members do. So it's great. It's a good club to be in because it's reciprocal, And I think that's the key word. In fact, if I said that at the beginning, I wouldn't have had to waffle on what I was saying. It's a very reciprocal arrangement, and I think that is key to why Pro Manchester is so valuable.
Thanks, Liz. That's really great. I mean, that's the point, isn't it? Actually, it's about it's the we get from the members as much as we hopefully give to the members. So, you know, I mean, you introduced us to the Stock Exchange Hotel. We did that wonderful event when it first launched, and I think we had Ryan Giggs, didn't we? And you know, and what a great event for our members, and that was purely down to you opening up your black book, bringing us along, taking us there, and you know, and really creating that values.
But if I might, and as a result of that, so when I set up the consultancy at the beginning of lockdown, the GG Hospitality were my first clients and our clients. I'm working with them very closely on not the Taylor Lynn Corporation, but as a consultant, sort of introducing activations and events. We've got some amazing stuff in the pipeline. But point to note, not just to Pro Manchester, but to any of you out there, if you're looking to do something special, unique, chic, they're available, and we're setting up a VIP club so that you can take clients out for lunch. You don't get a bill at the end of it. You get a monthly account sent to the business. You get 10% off drinks at the bar. You get the manager's number. You phone up and you say, I'm coming in 15 minutes and I want a table in Bull and Bear, and it's there. And we're doing that to an exclusive group of people. So if you're interested in that, please email me. But for Pro Manchester, you know, they're there for you. And if you want to use them, they'd be only too delighted to host you. And I think that's, you know, good to know. Right, that's my sales pitch.
It's good. It's definitely good to know, and I'm sure you'll probably get flooded with inquiries about a bit more about that going forward. Lee, let's come to you. Let's have a little talk to you about your sort of past year. I mean, interesting time for you to join Pro Manchester, to be honest. I mean, we had to completely adapt the business model in the past 12 months for obvious reasons. So perhaps maybe talk a little bit more about how you've engaged with it, what you've been doing, and where you really see the benefit.
Yeah, sure. So I mean, obviously we've coming from the events industry, it's been absolutely decimating what's actually happened over the past 12 months. So for us, it was quite important to look at our target audience and see who could we actually support and where could we go where all of these businesses were we could actually find them in one place. So I think Pro Manchester was a really good organization to be a part of, because having had previous experiences, and I think what you've done in the past, as Liz said, is very much a personal approach, and we've had that so far already. So I think for us, it's all about engagement, being a sales and marketing consultancy, and it is about connecting with the right people and actually showing them what we can do. And Pro Manchester has given us the avenue or the channel to be able to do that. So when we spoke to Sean, we put on an event. Obviously, Pro Manchester as a member gives you an opportunity to put on an event for the members. Previously, we've put on obviously face-to-face events in my previous business, and obviously this was done virtually, and it got us access to, I think it was about 30 or 40 people that actually attended, and we've been able to have some really good, meaningful conversations. And then, like I said before, we've had Sean, who's actually introduced us to some of the businesses that we actually wanted to touch base with, where we thought we could actually add value. And then obviously for future, we're obviously looking to have more events. We're very much relationship orientated business. Both myself and Mike have a lot of experience, and I think building those relationships is vital to us as a business. We don't just want to, sell our services. What we want to do is build meaningful relationships. We've been adding value. I mean, I'm part of the GM Chamber of Commerce as well, and I think the networking element for me is absolutely vital, and I think that will actually help us grow. And from a personal level as well, like I said before, one of the great things has been that there's so many different focus groups, and actually being able to be involved with something that you're passionate about. And I think that's given me a really good involvement as well, in terms of giving me an opportunity to engage with the group, engage with other like-minded people as well. And I think that's where the business relationships really start. Once you're actually getting, it's not about, you know, pitching people, it's actually understanding and meeting other like-minded people, getting to know them, and then obviously building that relationship and trust. And then obviously, if there is business to be done, great. If not, what you found is a really good like-minded person to you know, have a laugh with and have a drink with, and you know, especially when it opens up again, you can have you know, a drink afterwards or something like that. So yeah.
Brilliant, thank you. And I know that we've got Mike Pye, your business partner, in the audience as well. And Mike and I have been talking about potentially some more exciting opportunities coming up in the future. So, you know, it's just really, really great to have those conversations, explore new opportunities, and see what comes out of that. So watch this space for that, everybody. I'll just a little teaser there for you all. Mel, let's talk to you, because I think it's fair to say that, you know, RLB probably weren't as engaged as they could have been. Probably, really we noticed this at the beginning of this year when we go into a pandemic, and actually everybody looked at their cost base and were thinking, okay, you know, for Manchester, do we want to spend the money here? Because at the moment, money is cash is king, and everybody was looking after their budgets, weren't they? So I think that was a real moment for you and me when we sort of said, right, oh, we need to do something about this, because we want to stay involved, we want to keep moving forward, but actually we're probably not doing everything that we can with it. Now, I liken the Pro Manchester membership to a gym. I always have done. At the end of the day, it's one of those things that you can pay the money to be part of it, but you have to be actively involved if you want to get any value out of it. And I think this is a great example of you and I kind of coming together and saying, right, let's what can we do here? Let's do something about that, and hopefully you'll be able to tell everybody about what a difference that's made.
Yeah, completely, Sam. I mean, you know, we have been members of Pro Manchester for quite a few years now, and I think the beauty of Pro Manchester is that it will give you what you need it to give you, basically. And the team is excellent in the interaction it provides and the support it provides. And if you want to maximise your engagement, then the ability is there to do it. And it's fair to say we probably weren't maximising it as much as we could do. And as Sam mentioned, during the times of COVID, obviously businesses looked at what expenditure they had, you know, what memberships they had, etc. And were we really utilising those to the best? And, you know, were we getting best value from what we were members of? And we really looked at everything we had. And Pro Manchester was definitely one that we wanted to keep. And what we also realised was we had to utilise it more than what we were doing. So myself and Sam, we had a meeting, we sat down and we looked at what areas particularly we wanted to concentrate on. And we've done that in a number of different ways, really. So one of the ways is we've engaged with actual events in terms of speakers. Within the business, we have a number of specialists and specialist services, and we've got some excellent knowledgeable people who can speak at events, so we've utilised that where we can so far. And the other area is on the sector groups. So what we've done is we've looked at the Northwest region and we've allocated staff within the Northwest offices to the sector groups. And what we're looking to do there is obviously maximise those relationships, build their own networks, get market intelligence out of those networks, and so already they're building these new relationships, and potentially new business will come into RLB from that. So those are just two areas already that we've really upped the ante, and we're already seeing some good success in terms of confidence of staff within the business, attending these sector groups, getting used to networking themselves, etc. Which, as people have mentioned before, is really important. You need the whole business to business development for you. And that's what we're trying to do at the moment.
Brilliant, thanks, Mel. Yeah, we had Steve at our virtual transport and property lunch the other week, didn't we? So that was good. It's good to see Steve there. And getting you guys more involved. And obviously the roadmap's out there. The light is at the end of the tunnel as long as we can hit those milestones. And we've got some really exciting stuff coming up in the programme to get people back out and networking, because that's what we all want to be doing, don't we? You know, we want to provide a nice, safe environment for everybody to be able to get back together again. And virtual is fine, and it has a place, and it has a place to stay. It will always be here, and it will provide that additional value to the Pro Manchester membership. But nothing will ever beat the real face-to-face type of stuff that we're really famous for, and we can't wait to get back and doing all of that. So we've got a couple of summer socials coming up that might be of interest for anyone who just wants to come and have a drink and, you know, do some proper face-to-face in real life networking again. Sean, let's come to you a little bit more, because your relationship, as you say, it's been a long-standing one in your various different guises. But you know, certainly in your role in Yorkshire Bank and Virgin Money, huge supporters of the Pro Manchester programme, actually adopting an entire programme of activity with us. Just talk to us a bit more about that relationship and what that did for Yorkshire Bank at the time.
Yeah, absolutely, Sam. So as I alluded to earlier, Yorkshire Bank had a long-standing sort of 20-year plus presence in Manchester, but that was realistically on the commercial and corporate banking side, and we didn't really have a full service proposition in Manchester. So I was really excited back in 2019 when the bank decided to commit to a really exciting foray in terms of investing our reach and our presence in Manchester by opening a full concept store. So a number of you on the Zoom will remember, or potentially have been involved, or even dropped in for a coffee into B Works on Market Street, which we opened in 2019. And the bank, this was a serious, and I'm talking multi-million-pound investment that we made to grow our franchise. Obviously the bank was on a mission to essentially disrupt, and still is, to disrupt the status quo in banking. And we wanted to build out something that was pretty unique as a concept, and more than just a retail store or a retail branch. So what we decided to do is to invest quite seriously around building out a community hub, which was around building out an opportunity to learn, to work, and to grow and to bank. What we did through the alignment that we had with Pro Manchester was to essentially align and partner with SME Club. So what we wanted to do is to be able to drive some footfall and to drive a programme or an engagement opportunity with an SME network, and across that 10,000 or so businesses that are aligned already with Pro Manchester, and really build out that community feel and drive footfall and engagement through building out an event programme that we were hosting, or up until lockdown we were hosting through 3B Works. Obviously that's been subject to a rebrand now with Virgin Money, but what I genuinely believe is that Pro Manchester were as being, you know, immersed and entrenched in the fabric of the city, was a fantastic opportunity for us to align in terms of how we really do build out a proposition and build out our franchise in a new part of the region for us. So it was hugely successful in terms of our objectives to invest for growth, and we'll continue to be advocates and supporters of Pro Manchester. As you know, Liz and Jen talk passionately about the opportunity to support each other and to work collaboratively across the city, such as I've been impressed and actually blown away by the opportunity to build out that community spirit. I think that prompted me to step forward to see what more I could do in terms of playing my part and stepping forward to support Sam joining the board as a non-exec director of Pro Manchester. And you know, I have nothing but praise and admiration for the work that Sam and the team do behind the scenes to be our voice for business and to help us support and drive our influence and reach across the city, as I alluded to before. So massive support to Sam. I think you and the team do a phenomenal job in terms of furthering our cause, and I look forward to continuing to work for in support of you and the team going forward. Long may it continue.
Thanks, Sean. Soon to be, after our AGM tomorrow, all being well, vice chairman of the Pro Manchester board, which is a really exciting step.
Subject to being blackballed tomorrow, Sam.
It's never happened in my 15 years at Pro Manchester, so I'm not expecting it to happen tomorrow. So that'll be an exciting day. But thank you to you all for your very, very, very kind comments. I'm just going to finish. We've only got 10 minutes left. So I'd like to hear from each of you about your sort of, maybe your highlights, a memorable moment about Pro Manchester that you'd like to maybe tell to the audience, and then maybe just reflecting on, you know, what's the future look like for you, and potentially any more further involvement in the Pro Manchester programme. So I'm gonna go to, I think we'll go to Mel. You're sort of front and centre again, so I'm gonna go to you first.
I don't know how this keeps happening, Sam. Yeah, I think kind of key things for me, and kind of the sparky moments from being involved, have been where we've hosted events in our own office with you guys, and seeing the profile that's given us. People have come into our office, they know where we are. We might have been involved with the event itself, access to all the attendees. I think those kind of moments have been the best moments to really engage, and have given us great opportunity on the back of those happenings. In terms of the future, I think, as we mentioned before, it's really going to be to maximise our involvement with yourselves. We know that if we push with yourselves to progress things and really get the word of RLB out there, you will help us to do that. You're fantastic at sharing any news we've got within the business, any opinion pieces. That goes out to all your network. That's brilliant for us as well. Just building some fantastic relationships with the members as well. I think that's key going forward. And I think post-COVID, relationships will be so important. And as Liz touched on before, I think everybody will be so willing to work together and to become a team together, which is going to be very important.
Yeah, I absolutely echo that. Definitely going forward. Go on then, Jen. I think you're next.
I'm going to say today's going to have been my highlight, because when I sat down just to prep for this, I thought, my goodness, to look back on a 10 to 12 year journey and history and think about all those memories and events and the opportunities we've had to work together and what Pro Manchester has done for me. So I'm going to say today's been my highlight. In terms of what I'm looking forward to, I can't wait for events. I can't wait for a fuzzy head in the morning after a couple of glasses of wine at a Pro Manchester event. I can't wait for that face-to-face networking. I can't wait to be back at business lunches, panel events. Just can't wait to be like there is a space for some virtual networking. There is, but we just can't wait to get out there, can we, again, and be face-to-face with people and make those real connections and relationships. And I can't wait to start encouraging other colleagues to embrace membership, because what we did when we were looking at events that Pro Manchester put on, and how many people are going to events, and what we do now is we tagged it onto, we have a magazine, if you like, newsletter called Marketing Week in our firm, and that goes out weekly and shares what we've got 3 sites now, Liverpool, London, Manchester, and what people are doing, who people are meeting. So, we've got that shared knowledge. And also we now advertise the Pro Manchester events on it and say, these are the Pro Manchester events that are on this week. And certainly when I'm carrying out appraisals or, mentoring and one-to-one, and junior team members, or not all the time, junior members say, I want to meet people in this space, I want to do this, I want to do that, then I can say, well, you've got all these Pro Manchester events, you're saying you want to meet people in the creative space, for example, digital, well, this is what you should be looking at. And, you're reminded every week of the events that you can attend. So I think really maximising membership to get the most out of it, because it is like a gym, like you say, there's no point in paying the membership if you don't embrace it. There really isn't, and it's meritocratic. You'll get out of it what you put in. But yeah, it's fabulous, and I've much like Sean and James and Mel, I've not got a bad word to say, because you're so involved, Sam, and you are the face of promotion, like Liz said, you're so accessible, so you're just always there to have a chat with. So Yeah, I'm, like I say, big Pro Manchester fan, and I think it's going to be a really exciting year. Once we're out of COVID, touch wood, it's going to be really exciting for Pro Manchester and the members.
No, couldn't agree more. It's going to be great when we can all kind of get back together. It's really nice that today's that highlight for you, Jen. I think yesterday was the day of reflection. It was 1 year on from when we were all put into lockdown, and I think we've all had a bit of a moment of kind of maybe looking back over the past 12 months and thinking what's happened. And sometimes you're just on autopilot. You're just ploughing through everything that you need to do. But sometimes it's quite nice to maybe look back. And like you say with Jen, this was a moment for you to maybe look back and say, well, actually, I've done quite a lot with Pro Manchester, and it's been a really interesting journey. So I'm really glad that that's one of your highlights. Let's go over to James. James, let's talk to you about that. Highlights and then future.
Yeah, I suppose the highlight for me is just seeing how the Made in Manchester Awards have been evolving. I was really lucky to be part of that from the outset in terms of sitting on the panel many years ago. And just seeing actually how that's really gathered momentum over the last few years, because I think it's hugely important to celebrate the region's successes and also that future talent of people coming through. I think to pick up on Jennifer's point, you sort of grow up with people in the region, which is obviously very useful from a business development perspective and networking. But it does mean a lot to the up and coming and future talent in the region to receive these awards and be nominated. And it's become a really prestigious event, which I think is echoed by just the volume of firms and diversity of firms that get involved within those awards. So I would always really encourage people to nominate and put forward the young talent coming through for those awards. And then I suppose the future is more of the same. So if it's not broke, don't fix it. From our perspective, in terms of keep working closely with you, Sam, and Pro Manchester, keep attending the events, and I think as been mentioned by other people, you get out what you put in from it. So I think I'll end my cliches there, but it's as I say, a big supporter of the firm and of you, Sam. So yeah, more than happy to just keep going.
No, brilliant. Thanks, James. Appreciate that. And you're right, Made in Manchester Awards. I mean, it's in its eighth year this year. I think it wasn't coming up for its ninth. It's really taken off, and it is something to really celebrate, especially after the year that we've had looking at that younger talent. And you think about when we first started all of this way back when, and where we all are in our careers. And I like to hope, I'd like to think that Future Pro Manchester has had a big part in getting us to where we are now, and the relationships that we've built, and some of the other committee members who are now running their own businesses and doing some really exciting things. It's wonderful to see that. Liz. She's stuck on mute.
Never. I was just listening to everybody and I was thinking, how am I going to respond to this? From a personal perspective, last March, my business didn't wind down, it shut. It literally went from having £3 million worth of events in the diary to nothing. And so it was, the challenge was, and I was determined not to be my normal self and be very reactive and go like a bull in a china shop and to just sit back and think. And I never went into virtual events. I decided my focus was to do other things that I'd wanted to do, do the podcast, do the consultancy, and focus on live events. And I think that what you have all said is quite right, that there is nothing beats a live event. But I do believe that we will attack them with a very different headspace than we have in the past. And I know that I certainly won't be as dismissive of some of the Pro Manchester stuff that maybe I've not attended, that really I should have attended. And what my whole ethos through my whole working life has been, you build a brand, brand is king. And I think that what you have done at Pro Manchester is build an exclusive brand. It's not just another group of people that have, are members of a committee. It's a smart, edgy, diverse brand, and something that we all want to be associated with and something that we all support. And I think that will come to the fore over the next 12 months, because I think we'll all be ready to go to the opening of a bloody envelope, to be quite honest with you, having been in for so long. But I do think that, and I think that what I've enjoyed about today is sort of, you know, getting to know people a bit. There is nothing better than walking across the room, putting your hand out and saying, hi Jennifer, I'm Liz Taylor, I'm from the Taylor Link Corporation, you know, and you also you break the perception. You know, I might think she's a smart ass lawyer, and you know, does she really want to speak to me? She might think, ooh, she's got a bit of a reputation, I'll swerve that one. But when there is nothing better, the worst thing that they can do, and I'd love to do a networking a networking session, because there's nothing, the only thing that can happen to you is that people ignore you. And I think that from the experience we've had and the group that you've developed and the live events that will be coming to the fore, I think everybody will be will be eager to go out, meet people, just in a very chilled environment, not sort of pressurizing for business or looking for an edge or looking for an agenda, except me. But I think, and so, you know, that's what I think, getting to know people, getting more involved, that's what the future holds. And if I dare say, and I say this and I choose my words carefully, for me, I've made the best over the last 12 months out of a catastrophe. And I think that if you can come out of that, and I know people have had it had a devastating impact on a lot of people, so I'm not being flippant here, but professionally, I've come out of it a much stronger, better person, and I'm excited about how I can take that into the future.
Oh, hear to that, Liz. Yeah, absolutely. I think we're all hoping that. I think we all feel, you know, it's. I think I used the words on something the other day, but we sucker punched us. But now we can breathe again, and we are coming out of this stronger. And I know that Pro Manchester, from a value perspective, we've got so much more on the agenda now that we weren't offering before, and can't wait to do that. On the point about networking, if somebody ignores you at a networking event, I don't know why they're at the networking event if that's the case. You know, the whole point of going there is to meet people, and hopefully our environment is come and be friendly and be welcoming to absolutely everybody. And I hope that that's the ethos across the whole of the community. I know we're absolutely out of time, but perhaps Leali, you can give us a quick one, and then we'll go to Sean, and then we'll wrap up.
Sure. I think my highlights were the in-person events. You know, I had the pleasure of attending lunches and holding live events at some really iconic venues and meeting some great people. So we're looking forward to that coming back, and you know, working with you, Sam, and the Pro Manchester team to hold some, you know, really good, you know, thought-provoking events as well. And yeah, I think for me, it's really all about getting involved and building those relationships, and really looking forward to that.
Brilliant, thank you. And quickly, Sean, I think we're down to only a few attendees left now, but
absolutely, very quickly, I think the proudest moment for me, certainly career highlight, was January 19, opening the doors to our concept store, and the investment that, like I alluded to, that we'd made at Yorkshire Virgin into Manchester, and just being shoulder to shoulder with you, Sam, and over the coming months, over the coming year, seeing the community build out in B-Works, and seeing literally thousands and thousands through the doors. I mean, obviously a traditional banking model, as you know, people have reverted to online, and you know, decreased footfall walking through your bank branches, but to actually see that community engagement, that entrepreneur spirit building out in B-Works, and literally thousands of you know, up and coming entrepreneurs and fledgling businesses engaged in the right way, and learning and creating opportunity for growth was just phenomenal. So that connectivity that's been widely referenced on the session, saw that in abundance. And I think, in summary, I know I've not met Liz before, and it's great to make the connections with some of the panel presenters, and I'm genuinely excited, Liz, about raising a glass and sharing a glass of fizz with you in the not too distant future on the circuit.
Yeah, but Sean, together money you'll be paying.
Absolutely. Why wouldn't we, Liz? Why wouldn't we? I'd be delighted to stand you a glass of fizz somewhere in the not too distant.
Hey, you never know. Pro Manchester might. You never know. We might provide the fizz. We'll provide the platform and the fizz. You two can do the connecting and the networking. Amazing. Thank you so much to each and every one of the panelists. Thank you for your really heartwarming, very nice, kind words that you've said today. I hope that everybody who did attend found it really, really useful. It's lovely to hear some of your stories, and I can't really thank you enough for taking part in this event for us. Thank you so much. Have wonderful afternoons, and I hope that I will be able to catch up with you for that glass of fizz at the social in August. That would be good.
Great stuff.
Thank
Thanks
you.
very much.
Bye-bye. Bye.
Bye.